Another significant Overwatch World Cup roster was revealed to us. Team China is officially ready to fight. They've consistently been one of the best countries to represent Overwatch in this event over the last couple of years, and this team is no exception. It is essentially the Hangzhou Spark with Faraway 1987. If you haven't been paying attention to what the Hangzhou Sparks roster is for Overwatch League 2023, it's Guxue, 20, previously known as Elsa, Leave and Shy at DPS, then Langsa and Monk. When evaluating this roster, I mean, it's pretty good. It really doesn't get that much better than this for China overall. These are a lot of the best players they possibly could have fielded. It is essentially just an Overwatch League roster, but in the World Cup. So China's in a pretty good spot. It's not like it wasn't expected, it was just a matter of who was actually interested in participating, and as it turns out, a lot of the best players they possibly could have fielded are. The fact that they have Leave Shy immediately gives them a really good boost. We've already talked about them extensively throughout this offseason. It's going to be one of the best DPS duos in this event without question, and China have a real shot of at least being that second place team, or maybe challenging Korea. I don't know if they'd beat them in a series, but maybe they could put up a decent fight. This is the kind of roster that gives you a real fighting chance. It's hard to not like this, you know? Maybe there are some players that you wish would make it over others, like I for one thought that maybe having Xerneas over Langsa would be more helpful. He's just a more skilled main support. But it's an Overwatch League team. What can you really complain about? They're immediately going to be one of the best teams and they don't even have to try that hard. They're going to cruise through most of this tournament pretty easily. And if you want my honest opinion, even as other rosters get announced, they will probably maintain the second best spot in this entire thing in terms of roster strength. Maybe they could get bumped down by Team USA. Those two are probably going to be pretty close to each other in terms of skill level, but generally China's at least a top 2 or 3 team, and that goes without saying. I'd be interested to see how them versus Team USA goes. I feel like China has the edge, especially because of that DPS line, but Team USA is likely going to be rocking with an entire Overwatch League team too in Toronto Defiant, so that could be a really good series. Really though, there's not much to complain about with Team China. This is just a solid team, especially at the World Cup level. It's one thing to evaluate a team like this at the Overwatch League level. A lot of those weaknesses could be a lot more easily exploited there, but in the World Cup, a lot of rosters you face just aren't going to be nearly as strong. A lot of these guys that they're playing against may not even have Overwatch League talent in general. So China's immediately better than like 95% of teams, like without even having to think about it. The only way you can criticize and evaluate this roster is against the only couple of teams that really stand a chance against them or are clearly better. Like in a matchup with Korea, for example, their weaknesses will get exploited. How do they do outside of a Winston meta? I'm not too sure. I like Guxue, I like 20, but they're not exactly god-tier tank players unless they're in their comfort zone, and with the backline, they're just not strong enough to deal with somebody like Fielder or Chio. Faraway, Monk, Langsa, they're all okay, but none of them are these significant game-changing playmakers that really change the outcome of a game. That's all on their DPS. Or again, if there's a Winston meta. Outside of that though, they don't really have the well-roundedness to compete with Korea, but this type of team definitely is well-rounded enough to beat just about anybody else. Which again is why I say they are probably the favorites to land the silver medal in this thing. If that were to happen, this would mark the 3rd consecutive World Cup where they earned that honor. And while it's not the glorious gold medal that they're looking for, of course, getting silver 3 times in a row like that is a very impressive feat, and it goes to show you that China is one of the powerhouses of professional Overwatch. Which honestly makes it all the more depressing that China no longer has access to the game. Still though, at least China's about to go out with a bang if this is the last time we ever see them compete in the World Cup, or if this is the last World Cup in general for that matter. An Overwatch League level team, 2 MVP level DPS players, Guxue, who literally made a name for himself in this event many years ago, and quite possibly the only country that could give Korea a good fight. This roster boasts a pretty unique advantage, and I don't just mean because of the DPS. Practice-wise, they're in a really good spot. They don't have to do a lot of extra practice that'll exhaust their guys, cause this is basically just one Overwatch League roster plus one other guy. So really, they'll get all the practice they need against the best possible competition in the league this year. That could help keep their players a bit more well-rested and give them the mental advantage over some of the other teams that could possibly gun for that second place spot. And we haven't even talked about how they're rather flexible. Their DPS can play anything, they've got 2 tanks that can cover every hero in the game at that role, and support, they can play double flex support no problem with Farway and Monk. They've got everything they need. And synergy-wise, they'll be in an excellent place. Most of these guys have already played with each other before due to their Chengdu days, or on previous World Cup teams, or they currently play together right now on the Spark. And by the time we reach the World Cup this fall, they'll have already been playing together for months and months and months, practicing, scrimming, playing big games and tournaments together against the best players in the world. So by the time we reach that point this fall, they're going to be extremely organized and on the same page with each other. They'll be in their primes, all warmed up for this thing, and they'll make a great coordinated effort. And if a few teams get caught slipping, or Team China proves to be even better than we think, then they very well might just steal away that gold medal thanks to the amazing power of their synergy, plus Leave and Shy, who can literally beat anybody in the league. They have the skill, they have the stars, now they just have to go out there and prove the doubters wrong once and for all. But let me know what you think about Team China's roster down in the comments below. Do they have a chance to take home the gold, or are they just going to come in second place like a lot of us think they will? Make sure to give this video a like if you enjoyed, and subscribe to the channel if you want more Overwatch World Cup roster reveal content just like this. And until next time, this is ATP, signing out. Peace.